Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about the thyroid gland. As you already know, the thyroid meaning is shield, and it is an largest endocrine gland secreting T3 and T4, and it has following peculiar features. It is highly vascular, superficial in location, depends on external source for its hormone synthesis, and it stores its own hormone. And this thyroid gland is located in the anterior triangle beneath the floor of muscular triangle, below and in front of the thyroid and cricoid cartilage. It's a median structure there. It is H-shaped, and when you see a thyroid here, you can make out the different parts, and it has two coverings, the false capsule and true capsule. False capsule is formed by the pretracheal fascia. True capsule is formed by the condensation of the connective tissue stroma of the gland itself, and venous plexus lies beneath this true capsule. And the false capsule is thin in front, thick posteriorly. It forms a ligament of Berry and attaches itself to the cartilage, cricoid cartilage. That's why thyroid gland moves up with the deglutition. And coming to the presenting parts, it has two lobes, vertically located lobes called as lateral lobes, and a horizontal bridge connecting them, that is called as isthmus. So this is a right lateral lobe, left lateral lobe held by a horizontal piece of tissue, that is isthmus. So each lateral lobe is conical and flank the either side of the cricoid and trachea there. You can see there, that is the extent of the thyroid gland. It extends from C5 vertebra to T1. You can remember the formation of brachial plexus to remember the extent of the thyroid gland. C5 to T1 vertebra, and you can see here, coming to the measurements of each lobe here. Each lobe measures around 5 cm in length, 3 cm in breadth and 2 cm in thickness, and weighs around 25 grams. Thyroid gland weighs around 25 grams. And as you go here, each lateral lobe is conical in shape, having a apex there, below a base, anterior border and a posterior border. You can see there, and the surfaces, it has the three surfaces, that is apex and base. Apex is directly upwards and laterally, that is the anterior border, posterior border. Anterior border separates the superficial surface or lateral surface from the medial, whereas the posterior border separates the posterior from the medial surface. You can see here, if you see here, those two yellow colored bodies, they are parathyroid glands along the posterior surface. This entire thing is posterior surface. The left line of this posterior surface is posterior border, that is posterior surface. There you will appreciate the parathyroid glands, which are important in synthesis of calcitonin, parathormone. So you can see there, that is the medial surface, you can see, which is flanking the trachea and cartilages. So these are the presenting parts of a lateral lobe: apex, base, anterior border, posterior border, lateral surface, medial surface and posterior surface. Apex is limited above by the oblique line of thyroid cartilage, and it is sandwiched between the sternothyroid and inferior constrictor muscles. Base is related to 5th and 6th tracheal rings, directed downwards and medially. Apex is upwards and laterally. You can see like a butterfly, wings of the butterfly, and that is isthmus, having a measurement of 1.25 cm in length and breadth, and it presents superior border and inferior border, anterior surface and posterior surface. You can see there. Sometimes a pyramidal lobe extending from the isthmus gives attachment to a fibromuscular ribbon that is called as levator glandulae thyroidae. It will go above and attach to hyoid bone. You can see the borders here, superior border and inferior border, anterior surface is there, and posterior surface. If you isolate the gland, you will see the posterior surface related to second to fourth tracheal rings, and you can notice the medial surface also in this view from superior side, that is posterior surface, and these are medial surfaces, that is these are lateral lobes, and that is isthmus, the bridge connecting two lateral lobes. And coming to the relations of these all presenting parts, that is very important now. As I already told you, the location being the anterior median structure, thyroid gland lies beneath the floor of muscular triangle, both right and left muscular triangle. It is a median structure. You can see here the subdivisions of the anterior triangle that we already discussed in the previous video. Please go and watch that video for the subdivision of the anterior triangle. And you know, the entire larger part of the anterior triangle is divided into 7 subdivisions: an unpaired submental, paired carotid, muscular and digastric. So muscular triangle is here. If you take out that, the roof of the muscular triangle was formed by skin, that is there, supplied by transverse cervical nerve, superficial fascia containing this platysma muscle, subcutaneous muscle. Platysma muscle come from the pectoral fascia and deltoid fascia, and you can see, you can make out this shield like a thyroid gland there, and take out that superficial fascia containing this platysma and anterior jugular veins and tributaries of the external jugular vein. They are there. Platysma is a subcutaneous muscle, facial muscle supplied by the cervical branch of the facial nerve. As you can take out there, you will see investing layer of the deep cervical fascia there, and veins. Veins are in the superficial fascia, that is investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Take out that, then you will see the strap muscles forming the floor, sternohyoid, superficial and converging, sternothyroid, deep and diverging, D and D, covering the lateral lobes of the gland, that is the sternohyoid, sternothyroid, superior belly of omohyoid, and lastly sternocleidomastoid. So 4S muscle, you can remember the lateral surface of the lateral lobe. One lateral lobe of thyroid gland is related to the 4S muscles. You can write skin, superficial fascia and all. Muscles are sternohyoid, sternothyroid, superior belly of omohyoid and sternocleidomastoid. So these are the relations here. If you want to come from the skin, the relations are skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, then these 4 muscles, 4S, sternohyoid, sternothyroid, sternocleidomastoid, superior belly of omohyoid. You can see on the left side you are seeing, right, on the right side muscle you are seeing there, left side muscle we have removed. So these are the 4 muscles related to the lateral surface. What are the presenting parts of a lateral lobe? Apex, base, anterior border, posterior border, lateral surface, medial surface and posterior surface. So these are the relations of the lateral one. Immediate relations you can remember as 4S, and apex, as I already told you, it is always wedged between the converging sternohyoid and inferior constrictor muscle, that is the inferior constrictor, you can see there, and it is related to the superior thyroid vessels there. Apex is directed up above and laterally, limited by the oblique line of thyroid cartilage, which gives attachment to sternothyroid muscle, sternothyroid and inferior constrictor are there wedging this apex of the lateral lobe of thyroid gland and related to superior thyroid vessels, and the base is related to inferior thyroid vessels. Remember, the apex is between those strap muscles. Sternohyoid is there, take a dot, then sternothyroid and this inferior constrictor muscle. So these are the four muscles from the relations of the lateral surface. And when you go to the medial surface, for that, if you take out the gland, you will appreciate. For the relations on the medial surface of a lateral lobe of thyroid gland, remember rule of 2. It is related to two cartilages, two muscles. Two muscles are cricothyroid and inferior constrictor. You can see there, and two cartilages are thyroid and cricoid, and two tubes, trachea and esophagus. Remember, two muscles and two cartilages, trachea and thyroid and cricoid, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, two tubes, trachea and esophagus behind, you can see, and you will also see the two nerves, recurrent laryngeal nerve and external laryngeal nerve, related to the medial surface there. If you add the nerves here, you will see the recurrent and external laryngeal nerve branches of vagus nerve, which is in the carotid sheath. The entire carotid sheath is related to posterior surface of the lateral lobe, and now we are showing you the carotid sheath there, and then recurrent laryngeal nerve related to medial surface there. In the anterior triangle dissection, we had discussed about the carotid triangle, carotid sheath, and what you see in the anterior part of the carotid sheath, you will see ansa cervicalis. This is common carotid artery. So posterior surface of a lateral lobe is related to carotid sheath, containing all these contents, and that is the ansa cervicalis there, flanking the lateral wall of the anterior part of the carotid sheath. You can see. So if you see the medial surface relations, remember rule of 2: two cartilage, two muscle, two tube, and two nerves. You can appreciate there. That is vagus nerve, part of carotid sheath, and you will see that is the external laryngeal nerve related. It runs along with the superior thyroid vessel, and it is closely related to superior thyroid vessels near the apex of the gland. That's why during thyroidectomy, the superior thyroid vessels are tied very near to the gland to save the nerve. Remember that. External laryngeal nerve. Then coming to the isthmus part there, you have seen along the anterior border there will be anterior division of the superior thyroid artery, and this is isthmus, bridge. What are the parts of the isthmus? Superior border and inferior border, anterior surface and posterior surface, that you see here. If you take out that, anterior surface is related to strap muscles, whereas the posterior surface is related to the second to fourth tracheal rings. Superior border related to anastomosis between the anterior divisions of superior thyroid artery there, right and left superior thyroid artery, anterior divisions, whereas the inferior border of the isthmus is related to inferior thyroid veins and also inferior thyroid artery. Remember, inferior thyroid artery has a variant course and it is tied away from the gland because of the recurrent laryngeal nerve, whereas superior thyroid artery is tied close to the artery because of external laryngeal nerve. Remember that these are relations of isthmus. Then coming to the blood supply, the thyroid gland is supplied by the two arteries, superior thyroid and inferior thyroid. You can see there, as you know, superior thyroid is a first branch of external carotid artery. You can see given at the level of superior border of thyroid cartilage, you can see it runs downwards and medially along with the it lies with the external laryngeal nerve near the apex, and at the apex it will divide into two divisions, anterior and posterior. Anterior runs along the anterior border, posterior runs along the posterior border. Anterior division anastomose with the opposite artery, whereas posterior division anastomose with the ascending branch of the inferior thyroid artery. And where the posterior division anastomose, there will be the location of parathyroid gland. So you can see superior thyroid artery is there. Then the inferior thyroid artery. Inferior thyroid artery is a branch of thyrocervical trunk, which itself is a branch of first part of vertebral artery. It is a vertebral artery. Vertebral artery is a branch of first part of subclavian artery. Remember that this inferior thyroid artery is a branch of thyrocervical trunk. It is a branch of first part of subclavian artery along with vertebral artery. So you can see that thyrocervical trunk, it gives three divisions: vertebral artery, inferior thyroid artery, and transverse cervical. That is there. If you remove this internal jugular vein, you will have a clear view of this inferior thyroid artery. Remember that inferior thyroid artery is a branch of thyrocervical trunk. It is a branch of first part of subclavian artery, inferior thyroid artery, and has a variant course. Usually it lies close with the recurrent laryngeal nerve. That's why this artery is tied away from the nerve, away from the gland to prevent damage to recurrent laryngeal nerve. It doesn't have a fixed course. That's why it is tied away from the gland. Remember, Riasen, recurrent laryngeal nerve is related to internal inferior thyroid artery, tied away from the gland, whereas superior thyroid artery related to external laryngeal nerve, tied near the gland. Riasen, RIA, recurrent laryngeal nerve, inferior thyroid artery away, superior thyroid artery, external laryngeal nerve, tied near to the gland. That is there, superior thyroid vein. Then you will see middle thyroid vein. Superior and middle, they drain into respective internal jugular veins on their side, whereas inferior thyroid vein drains into left brachiocephalic vein. Sometimes there will be a fourth vein called as Kocher's vein, and sometimes there will be an extra artery also called as thyroidema coming from arch of aorta, and thyroid gland also receives some branches from tracheal artery and esophageal arteries. Remember, the extra vein is called as Kocher's vein, and sometimes extra artery is called as thyroidema artery. So this is about the thyroid gland gross anatomy. Thank you.